Pro Football Focus has their Week 1 quarterback grades out. Tua Tagovailoa coming in number 1. Giardi's got Jimmy J coming in 4th. Patrick Mahomes 6th. Right behind him, Mac Jones, number 7 in the NFL. Bill O'Brien says one of Mac's best attributes is his good decision making.
He studies hard. He studies a lot on his own. He studies with us. He's very regimented in the way he goes about his process, getting ready for each day, each week. So I think that always leads to improvement and good decision making. So I think Mac is a really good decision maker.
All right, Giardi, listen, I love hearing Bill O'Brien say he's a good decision maker, but sometimes I feel like that's all we ever hear about Mac Jones. He's a really good decision maker. What did you see from him? I know you wrote a whole article sort of breaking down what we saw and maybe what we didn't look closely enough at on Sunday.
So I think the stats lied a little bit. I think it was a decent performance, like a B-, C+, but I think there's room for improvement there. I think he was very down on himself for not making plays in big moments, and to a certain degree, I kind of agree with that. There were some plays that he needed to make that he didn't make, and I kind of wondered about actually some of the decisions. But more to the point, Phil, I wondered about a couple of the throws. And for him, between the numbers, the ball has some good giddy up on it. Outside the numbers, other than the one to Booty that, ironically, Booty couldn't get his feet in bounds and you turn the ball over, the ball just doesn't have a lot of juice on it. And I know it was wet, so maybe that's part of it, yep. but I feel like I've been watching this movie for now 32 starts.
Well, and look at how they built the team, right? 2 tight ends, Juju Smith-Schuster gets paid. Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas, these are all guys that function in the middle of the field because that's where he's at his best. That's where most quarterbacks are at their best. It's very rare that you have the Patrick Mahomes, the Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, guys who can live on the outside because those are the harder throws, and you need to be a really special talent in terms of your arm strength to be able to push it out there really consistently. You're right, there are a couple that were just, too soft. I'm sure he would say it because he can put more on it than some of those throws, one to Juju Smith-Schuster, one to Hunter Henry along the boundary. But I did like some of the late game plays, and I wonder if you liked them too. There was the 3rd and 12 to Kendrick Bourne over the middle of the field. Very tight window. He takes a huge shot. I think it's one of the best throws we've seen him make, period, in 3 years. And then the throw to Booty at the end, that's there. That's an NFL strike to me. Is it perfect? I guess he could have had it a little bit more inbound so that you don't have to even worry about the 2 feet down thing. But you got to catch that. If you're Kendrick Bourne over the middle of the field, late in the game on the line, you got to catch that. So I have a hard time with the narrative of he made no winning plays and therefore they lost. Right. There were plays there to be made that he wasn't helped or he didn't get the help he needed on the other end.
But that's sort of standard for what they've done at that position, right? At wide receiver and how they surround him. You're not looking at the A.J. Brown. You're not looking at Hopkins. And Hopkins didn't do great in Tennessee. Well, if you watch Tannehill, there's a reason why Hopkins didn't do great in Tennessee the other day. So I think they kind of have handcuffed him in that regard a little bit. And then you invest someone in like Devontae Parker. You give him the extension, even though it was a kind of a lower the money total. He's hurt. He's always hurt. So guess what? He's not there in the first game. So guess what? Booty has to play 55 plays. There's no way that was in part of the plan. And Booty targeted 4 times, 0 catches. Twice he catches the ball but doesn't get his feet in bounds. That would have been Parker. If Parker's in the game, maybe you actually win the game. And I'm not a huge Parker fan, but again, you signed up for Devontae Parker. That's what you get.
What did you like? What did you see as building blocks moving forward and ways that the offense can get better?
There's a synergy between he and O'Brien already. They're doing things that Mac did well when Josh was here, that they got away from last year, that he didn't trust last year. Now they're back to doing some of those things. I think he has more control at the line of scrimmage, which I think Phil would agree. Again, he's got the big brain. Let him use the big brain for whatever reason. Patricia, they tried to simplify it. That was stupid because it took away his superpower, if you want to call that a superpower, Phil. So I like that part of it. And look, he's a gamer. He stands in there, and he took some shots, and he kept getting up. 54 times. You're dropping back to pass, sacked twice. He stood in there.
I really like the variety that they showed. A lot of different personnel packages. You saw 2 backs and those pony sets. You saw 3 tight ends out there at times. You saw them go empty, and they spread it out, and they allowed Mac Jones to, okay, here's my good matchup. I'm going to get the ball out of my hand quickly so I don't have to worry about whatever Antonio Mafi or City So are doing at the guard spots. So I like the variety that we saw in terms of the scheme that the Patriots showed, and I think that will help them down the line. One thing we really didn't see on Sunday, which will help them a great deal moving forward, They couldn't run it at all. And that took away – run game, great. You want to be able to run the football. But to me, the reason why is because then you can get the play-action game going. They didn't do any of that on Sunday. That should open things up for them.
You know who couldn't stop the run? Miami.
Oh, here we go.